congrats on the movie. I found it very moving, and Stephen Fry's performance really sticks out because he's grappling with so much. It's a man that doesn't really want to confront the trauma that he's experienced in his past, and it's a very natural aversion, and I felt very connected to that. I think men are almost more predisposed to just try to block that out. So how was it working with him to really show that emotion and see him really grapple with the effects of the Holocaust so many years removed?
Yeah, I agree with you about Stephen. Before I approached him, I had seen his documentary on YouTube where he does a very similar journey like Ruth does it. Stephen traveled to Hungary to discover his own roots, and I could see him at a Jewish cemetery. I could see him in front of an apartment that once belonged to his family. So many elements that were similar. And then I saw him crying in that documentary, and it touched me so deeply. And I knew, wow, I mean, he brings it all. He brings the deep personal connection, he brings all the emotion, and he brings the comedy, and he brings he's able to learn a new language, the most difficult language in the world, Polish. He can do it. I knew it. And he was willing to spend 3 or more months to learn that language and play Edek, which was amazing.
Yeah, he's incredible throughout it, and I was really surprised by what we see from Lena Dunham in this movie. She brings such a sensitivity to the role. What made you know that she was capable of such an affecting performance? Because it really registered and was very powerful.
I mean, again, it was that I felt there was a similarity between her and the character. I had read all of Lily Brett's books, and in the 90s, she was that cool New York music journalist, subculture girl with a lot of mental health issues and eating disorder. And so many of that, Lena represented so many of that when I watched Girls, and I was her fan on Instagram. And a lot of times in the financing process, I had heard, this film might be old-fashioned, and aren't we over it? And do we really need a film again about the Holocaust? And when I scrolled through Lena's Instagram once in a Berlin subway, and I thought, wow, she would be the perfect Ruth, and no one will think this is old-fashioned when she does it. And that was true. After she was attached, no one asked that question. Everybody knew that would be something different than what we had seen before, maybe. And again, I knew that she had a personal connection. What I didn't know was how huge the personal connection was, because her grandparents had lived in Łódź in the same streets like Lily Brett's grandparents had lived. And then she grew up in New York, also 1 block away from Lily Brett. They had basically walked the same streets in Łódź and in New York. And that was such a crazy coincidence.
Yeah, that just kind of shows it was meant to be. And when I was reading about how you got this made and how you reached out to the author on Facebook and you gave an interview, you said you viewed Lena in this role. There's been a lot of like self-actualization and just being a go-getter. Can you speak to that aspect? Because it's kind of remarkable that, it's really this positive attitude of yours and you being willing to reach out that got this made.
I mean, I was not in a position to, I didn't have a network really. So yeah, with Lily, I wrote her on Facebook and she answered 3 days later, sending me the email address from her agent. And then you have to keep up the energy and show you are really interested and why you are so interested. And with Lena, I was in Venice in competition in 2020, which was a huge step for me in my career. And then there was one interview with an American, I think it was Variety. It was the night of my premiere, and I knew this she might read. or she might have a Google alert, or her agent might. So I put it in the headline. When I knew he would ask me, what do you plan next? And I said, oh, I have a script here, and I envision Lena Dunham as the main actress. Can you please put that in the headline of your article? You can still find that article. And you know what? Next day, the agents reached out to our company and asked for the script. And then now we share even the same agency. So that makes things so much easier.
That's such a lovely story. And I was looking into the original book, and I saw there was a ghost element.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider putting that in
Yeah,
this, or how did that
totally.
go?
No, there were drafts with that Rudolf Höss ghost. It was difficult in many levels. First of all, the language. Everybody knew he was German. Ruth wouldn't speak German. Which actor, what language would this even be that they talk, all these long dialogues that they share? So this felt totally wrong. It's brilliant for a book, very difficult for a film. Also, the long dialogue with no visual elements, it's very difficult to transfer that to a film. So we made together with Lily Brett a decision maybe in the third draft to lose that element and to focus on the father-daughter love story and their journey and the inner journey. And I think that was the right decision for a film.
And I think when you first hear the words about a comedy drama that deals with the after effects of the Holocaust, you might be going, well, where's the comedy coming from? But this is done very well and very appropriately. Can you talk about just finding that balance between the comedy and drama and finding some comedy and, dealing with our trauma?
It comes from Lily's novel, definitely. She has that balance, which was very new to me as a German, because it's never connected to humor when we learn about it in Germany at school. So she brought that already. So we did a lot of work to bring it to the script. And then, and this is why I really wanted Lena and Stephen, I knew they have the emotional connection, but they are comedians. They have both have the most funny humor. And so I really hope that they could, bring that to the film, and they did beautifully.
Yeah, and this was your English language debut. What was most unique about filming in a different language for this?
I mean, I noticed while directing that words are not the most difficult, the most important in that process. It's not so much about words, what you tell your actors. It's more about the atmosphere, that how you reflect them, how much you love them, how much you create a space where they can try a lot. And you don't need so much language. That was an interesting experience, but it wasn't that different to the films that I have done before.
And since this is in English, it's going to reach even more of an audience here overseas. And it ties in thematically with two of your previous films, forming the Aftermath trilogy. How exciting is it to know that people are going to check this out and then want to dive into some more of your past work as well?
Very exciting. They are connected. I mean, I made a film now about every generation after the Holocaust. Now the second, this is Treasure. The third, which is my generation, that was Hannah's journey. And the fourth, the very political German left-wing activists who still feel the guilt and the responsibility to fight against raising fascism that we now experience. And yeah, I love the idea that people might look at them, and because it's something that matters for me a lot. And yeah, would be great if people saw those films. And
And
tomorrow
I had seen it.
it's on Netflix, so they can easily check it.
Great. And I'd seen that you were working on another comedy for your next film, and you were in talks with Jamie Lee Curtis. Is that still the plan to do
Not with
next?
her, but with another great actress now. And I can't share yet, but I look so forward to that project. Yeah, it's something that now that has no connection to Germany, and it's much lighter. And I look forward because this feels very much really like my first English feature debut, and I feel ready for it.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that. And I always love learning how titles are decided upon. How did you come up with Treasure for this film?
That was a decision that we made together with the distributor. First, it was called Too Many Men. That didn't make any sense anymore because we lost so many plot lines from the novel. Then it was called, during the whole shooting, Iron Box. That was our working title, and it reflected what they find in the end. It reflected their hearts, which are closed and closed boxes. But the distributor explained me, and I didn't feel that so much as a German, that this is maybe a dark or a negative title, which people might not wish to see a film with that title. And I have 100% trust, of course. So together we found Treasure, which reflects so much better that it's a film about healing, a film about something precious that they find together in Poland, that they dig out of the ground. And yeah, I was so happy when we found this title.
And how was it kind of working with Steven and Lena, and just seeing that father-daughter dynamic that they were able to show so greatly on screen because it really feels realistic. There's a lot of small touches that really makes it resonate on screen.
I know. They look like father and daughter. When you look at them together, it's funny that they share some, I don't know, family. They look a little bit like they could be a family. That's what I first thought when I saw them. We met for a table read. I saw them chatting for the first time, laughing, sharing their humor, and they look like family, and they really liked each other. On a set, maybe one actor sits there and one of them sits there, both in their iPhones. Not those two. They were laughing and chatting and hugging and sharing jokes all the time. I have so much material from the shooting where I see them together laughing, and they transported that love to the screen. And of course, I couldn't be sure, but knowing all of their work and their oeuvre, I felt that there would be a connection.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, and congrats again on the film. It's really beautiful.
Thank you so much, Tyler.